So right now, I'm sitting in a church building that was built in the early 1960s. It was built by a group of people who had a dream to see God bring revival in this area. The four things that they were devoted to: apostles' teaching, fellowship, breaking of bread, and prayer. Those are really important. But they mean nothing without the devotion to live them out. And the first followers of Jesus were completely devoted to these things. All right, so now it's your turn. You worship the same God that the people in Acts chapter 2 worship. Those first followers of Jesus that turned the world upside down with the gospel. You worship the same God that they do. And that God still wants to work where you live.
Once upon a time, there was this group of folks who lived life with passion, hung out, told jokes, treated each other like a family would, and followed Christ's teachings the way we all should. Watch them for a moment, and it's plain to see that one of the defining characteristics was their generosity. Fast forward the calendar 2,000 years plus, and ask yourself, what happened to us? Can we really decide to live life in this fashion and follow Jesus with an unbridled passion? Can we be so bold as to believe that it's true that if you take care of others, God will take care of you? Life's not really worth living until you give it away. If you do something daily, it's a priority. I began training this spring for a half marathon. Now, one of the things that you need to know about me is that I don't run because I enjoy it. I run because I purpose in my heart to do so. These first followers of Jesus knew how important it was to spend time together, and so they were intentional about it. They did it because they were devoted to each other. That was the motivation for this daily temple attendance. So, what about you? Are you committed to developing godly relationships with those around you to the place where you work at it every single day? Ryan Stevenson is one of the hottest new worship artists in Christian music today, and his life as a real worshiper of God is reflected in his music. I had the opportunity to sit down with Ryan and a couple of the guys from his band and just talk about the early church and worship and how to live that out in a modern context.
What causes me to want to worship is, I think, really more about just not a duty or a responsibility, but just more of a celebration. And I think that comes when you start to grasp the idea, you start to really own and grasp the idea of what Christ has done and the freedom that we have in Him. And so I really take my example of worship from the first, from the Old Testament all throughout, Chronicles and 1st and 2nd Samuel, when David built the temple and he brought the Levites in and he established this nonstop house of praise, and the reason the whole point of that was because the Bible talks about how God inhabits, He dwells within the praises of His people. I love to worship God through songs, just through singing to Him, through playing the guitar, and just taking moments in prayer, and just by loving other people.
Well, and we've talked quite a bit about the renewing of your mind and what it means to meditate on the Word, and that's really become apparent the older I get. Is my form of daily worship really is being in the Word and meditating on what I read.
where worship started with me was, wow, it was just an inside, voice saying, it's making me, it's like a switch that turned on.
I had a friend tell me that. He's like, Ryan, there's no such thing as a worship leader. He's like, you're just a worshiper, and by your praise, you create the environment.